Perhaps you are working at a computer and suddenly notice that you are becoming irritated. Perhaps you are speaking to someone and notice that your breathing has changed. Perhaps you are reading a message and notice tension developing in your body. Perhaps you are driving and suddenly realize that you are gripping the steering wheel very tightly. These are valuable signals. When awareness of the body improves, we are likely to receive more details about the changes taking place in the body. And this can give us an opportunity to intervene earlier. Detecting emotion at an early stage. As discussed earlier, the nature of an emotion is reflected in the face. Further, emotions can affect the body in several ways. There may be changes in heartbeat, there may be changes in breathing, there may be sweating, there may be trembling, there may be muscular tension, there may be changes in posture. Therefore, development of awareness helps us detect an emotion at a very early stage. This is extremely important. Imagine that you receive an unexpected message from someone. You immediately notice that your breathing has become faster. Your jaw becomes tight. Your shoulders become tense. You feel heat in your face. You have not yet sent a reply. This is the important moment. If you can recognize what is happening at this early stage, you have an opportunity to interrupt the developing process. Instead of immediately replying, you can pause. You can bring your attention to the body. You can notice the breathing. You can notice the tension. You can allow the present information to remain separate from the memories that are beginning to arise. If we can activate the prevention mechanism and disturb further sporadic memory formation at this stage, the effect of the emotion may be minimized. Depending on the level of development of awareness, the effects of emotions can be reduced further. We cannot always eliminate the emotion. There is, however, an important limitation. Because the technique is triggered by the emotion itself, you will not necessarily be able to eliminate the emotion completely. The emotion may already have begun. The important objective is therefore not necessarily to prevent every emotional feeling from appearing. The objective is to reduce its harmful effects. For example, you may still feel anger, but instead of allowing that anger to become an argument, an insulting message, or an impulsive decision, you may be able to prevent it from developing further. You may still feel fear, but instead of allowing fear to create a long chain of imagined possibilities, you may be able to remain aware of what is actually happening now. You may still feel disappointment, but instead of allowing the disappointment to bring back many related memories, you may be able to recognize the feeling and return your attention to the present situation. Therefore, with practice, the adverse effects of emotions can be successfully reduced, even though the initial emotional response may not disappear completely. But preparing for known emotional situations. Finally, our history record can guide us in identifying probable situations in which emotions are likely to appear. This is extremely useful if you know that a particular situation repeatedly causes an emotional reaction. You can prepare yourself before facing it. For example, perhaps you know that speaking with a particular person often makes you angry. Perhaps you know that reading certain types of messages makes you anxious. Perhaps visiting a particular place brings back unpleasant memories. Perhaps a particular type of criticism causes you to react strongly. If you already know this from your history record, you have an advantage. You do not have to wait until the emotion becomes intense. You can practice awareness immediately before facing the event. Practicing awareness meditation just before facing such an event can help increase the level of awareness. For example, before entering a difficult meeting, you might spend a few minutes quietly observing your body and breathing. Before opening a message that you know may be emotionally difficult, you might first establish awareness of your body. Before meeting someone with whom you have repeatedly experienced conflict, you might pause and become aware of your physical and mental state. This does not guarantee that the emotion will not arise, but it can help you detect the emotion earlier. And when you detect it earlier, you have a greater opportunity to prevent the emotional process from developing into a stronger reaction. Regular practice of awareness, supplemented by a short practice immediately before facing a known difficult event, can therefore be very useful. The important principle is simple. Practice when the mind is calm, so that the skill is available when the mind is not calm. The more frequently we practice awareness, the more naturally we may be able to recognize the earliest signs of an emotional reaction. And when we recognize those signs early, we have a better opportunity to interrupt the chain of associations, reduce the influence of past experiences, and respond to the present situation with greater clarity. Thank you for listening. We will address the handling of emotion-prone static pictures in next discussion.